Hello, you guys. Welcome to Virtual Tween Baking. It is June. So this time of year, it starts getting pretty hot out. And because it does get hot out, I thought maybe we'll do a recipe where we don't have to crank our ovens up to a super high temperature and heat up our houses. We're gonna do more of a no-bake recipe this month. So we're doing no-bake s'mores bars. It's really easy. There's only 4 ingredients and they're delicious. And all you really need are, well, the ingredients I gave you. So 1/8 cup of butter, which is just 2 tablespoons of butter, 4 cups of mini marshmallows, 3.5 cups of golden grams. That's like the graham cracker part of our s'mores recipe. And a cup of milk chocolate chips. I have measured everything for you in your kits. So super simple. You're also gonna need a little, like a medium-sized pot, because although we're not baking things in our ovens, we do have to melt the butter and kind of melt the marshmallow and make a really gooey type of mixture. But it really doesn't take that long. You're also going to need something to stir the marshmallow and mixture. I'm using this really nice silicone spatula. It is okay at really high temperatures, and it helps me like scrape the side of the bowl. It's kind of bendy. This type of thing works really well. You're also going to need something to press your bars into to let them set, and then you can cut them into little squares and eat them. I'm going to be using a loaf pan for this recipe. If you want to use more of like a smaller like brownie tray type of pan, or like a glass, pan type of thing, whatever you have. This recipe doesn't make a ton, so you don't need like a really big pan, but I'm gonna go with kind of a regular standard size loaf pan, and see how that works, okay? So you guys, everything's good to go. We've got all our supplies, all our ingredients. Let's get started. I am going to meet you guys at step number 1. All right, step number 1, lightly grease a loaf pan with cooking spray or oil. So I've got my loaf pan. I'm just gonna do a little spray of this like non-stick spray and set that aside for now. If you guys don't have that spray, if you just take like a tiny little drop of like vegetable oil and rub it around in there with like a paper towel, it just will help everything from sticking in the end. So that'll work. Or even if you wanted to like line it with parchment paper or even tin foil, that would work too. All right, so easy enough. Step number 2. In a medium pot, like so, we are going to melt our butter over low heat. All right, so I've got my 2 tablespoons of butter here. I'm going to unwrap it, put it in my pot, put it on low, and when it's totally melted, I will check back in with you guys. All right, so my butter is basically melted. Again, we want to just keep this on a nice low heat. If you crank up the heat, your butter can actually burn. So a nice low heat. It might take a few minutes for it to melt, but that's okay. So it's totally melted now. Perfect. So now we want to move on to step number 3, which is mix in 3 cups of marshmallows, stirring frequently until melted, and then remove from the heat. In the bag of marshmallows I gave you guys, there are 4 cups of marshmallows. So don't just dump in the whole bag. You've got to reserve 1 cup for step number 5 when we have to add more marshmallows. So for step number 3, we're just going to add 3 cups of marshmallows. I have taken out a cup of marshmallows to put aside for step number 5. So I am left with 3 cups of marshmallows. I'm going to give my butter one more little stir. And I'm going to now dump in my 3 cups of marshmallows. And again, we're just keeping this on really low heat because things like marshmallows and butter, like I said, can burn. So we want to dump in our marshmallows on low heat and just start to kind of mix it all around so these marshmallows start to get gently coated with butter. And this is going to help the marshmallows from sticking to the pan, but it's also going to make them nice and, it's going to make the mixture nice and glossy and shiny and smooth. So that's why we're doing that. And already I can tell they're getting warm and they're starting to kind of stick together a little bit more. So I'm just gonna keep stirring this. It does say stir frequently. You can see I've got my spatula, I'm kind of scraping the sides as I always do, scrape the bottom, make sure nothing is sticking too bad to the bottom. That's how things burn. So just kind of stir frequently until you're gonna be left with this like ooey gooey melted mixture, and then we're gonna take it off the heat. So when my marshmallows are totally melted, I will turn the camera back on and show you guys, and I'll remove it from the heat, and then we'll do the next step. So for now, I'm just gonna keep kind of scraping and stirring. We're not totally at the melty phase we want yet, but I just want to show you guys this is totally what's gonna happen. You can see everything's starting to get kind of gooey and glossy, so keep stirring. This is normal, and this is what it should look like right before it completely melts into like a really smooth, glossy mixture. So if it looks like this, keep stirring frequently, keep going, we're almost there. All right, so I'm at a point here where everything is basically pretty melty. If there's a couple, you know, tinier little lumps in there, don't even worry about it. I mean, this is all gonna kind of melt down anyway, but I'm at a spot now where everything is nice and kind of melty and shiny and good. So I'm going to turn my heat off. I'm going to remove my pot, or my, yeah, I guess my pot, from the stovetop. And now I'm gonna keep stirring just for a second here. And then we're gonna move on to step number 4, which is stir in Golden Graham cereal and let sit for 2 minutes. So I've got my cereal here all measured and ready to go. I'm gonna put this in the frame of the camera here. And yeah, we are just going to dump this right in. And again, this is not on, you guys can't see, it's not on this the heating unit of my oven of my stove top. I have turned the heat off and removed it from the heat. So now I just mix it right in with this melty marshmallow mixture. And once this is like totally mixed in, it's not gonna be super easy to mix because this is just like a gooey mess right now, but just mix it the best you can. And then we're just gonna let it sit for 2 minutes. Man, I could just eat this as is right now. That it looks really good. It's just like a blob of cereal and marshmallow. But we still have to add more marshmallow and chocolate. So we're not done yet. We still have some good things to add to this. Almost done mixing, and I'm not crushing it. I don't want this mashed into like a paste. I'm trying to just gently stir it so that the cereal doesn't completely break. If it breaks a little bit, it's not a big deal. But what adds to the really nice crunchy texture of these bars when they're done is just kind of all of the nooks and crannies of these pieces of cereal. So I'm trying to keep them intact as much as I can. All right, so I've got this all pretty much evenly stirred. That is gooey. Oh, so this is what mine looks like right here. So now I'm just going to let it sit for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna add some more marshmallows and our chocolate chips. So I will be back in 2 minutes. All right, it's been about 2 minutes. So we are moving on to step number 5, which is pour in 1 cup extra marshmallows and stir until combined. So that cup of mini marshmallows we saved from the bag, I am now going to dump in. Very easy. I'm going to keep giving this a stir. As it starts to cool a little bit, you're going to find it gets a little bit harder to stir. And again, it's just kind of a big, blobby, delicious mess. But we're just going to kind of gently fold in these marshmallows a little bit more, like the best we can. And if they kind of glob up a little bit, that's okay. That'll be a delicious bite of marshmallow for you to enjoy. All right, so again, I'm still kind of just trying to scrape the pan the best I can and make sure I'm trying to evenly distribute these marshmallows the best I can. Might not be perfect, but it's gonna be delicious. So this is what I'm working with right here. So if your mixture looks like this, you are on the right track. You're doing great. We're almost done. All right, so those marshmallows are now kind of folded and mixed in. All right, then we are going to pour in our milk chocolate chips and stir until combined. At this point, the mixture will be difficult to stir, as we have already established. And the milk chips will melt a little bit, but not completely. And that is what we are looking for. So, chocolate chips here, pre-measured, dumping them right in. We're gonna continue to kind of fold and stir this gooey mixture the best we can. Oh boy, it's like mixing cement. Delicious, delicious cement. It smells really good. And I went with kind of a s'mores theme because I figure it's summer now, everyone's gonna go camping or sit by the campfire. And you know, if you do go camping, make these in advance, bring them with you. Oh my gosh, you'll be the hit of the camping trip if you bring some s'mores bars with you when you go camping. Oh my gosh, people will be so excited. All right, so I'm mixing. It is definitely really hard to stir now. Got to use a little bit of muscle, but that's okay. I'm gonna give this a couple more stirs. The chocolate that's on the bottom of my bowl here, my pot, is melting a little bit, and again, that's totally fine. It'll give it a really nice appearance and texture when we cut into these. All right, so this is what it looks like now. There's my chocolate chips in there, all my marshmallows, all my cereal. I think that's at a pretty good spot. So now, before all the chocolate melts, we do want to transfer it to our greased loaf pan here. When chips mixed in, pour into prepared pan and press evenly. Perfect. So, this part might be a little bit messy. Using your spatula, just kind of pour. And when I say pour, you might need to actually kind of shovel it in because it's really sticky. But just try to get it into your pan the best that you can. And there is some stuff stuck a little bit to the bottom of my pan. I'm just going to kind of scrape out what I can here. A nice big chunk to get out. Okay. Oh, this looks really good. Is there anything better than melted marshmallow and chocolate and graham cracker? Oh, so good. So you can see there's the bottom of my pan is kind of a mess now. Maybe if you're like me and you have to do a lot of dishes, start soaking it, just pour a bunch of hot water in it and just start letting it soak. And help your parents do the dishes, definitely. I mean, you're making all these dirty dishes, definitely help them to clean some of it. So now what I'm doing with the back of my spatula is just pressing this mixture into my loaf pan. All right. And it might not be the most beautiful pastry you've ever seen, but it's a loaf of no-bake s'mores bars, and it's probably going to be the best thing we've ever eaten. So what we're going to do now is let this sit and kind of just set and cool for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we can cut into it. It's going to kind of cool and set, harden up a little bit more. But it's not going to be rock hard or anything. That marshmallow is still going to stay, soft enough where, these are going to be so good. So I'll check back in with you guys in about 15 to 20 minutes, and we will cut into this and see what it looks like and taste it. Yay! All right, this has been sitting for about 20 minutes, so it's nice and set. At this point, if you wanted to cut it right in the pan that it's in into little squares, whatever shape you want, that's fine. I have a little parchment lined board right here that I'm gonna kind of flip mine. Ooh, whoops. and then I'm gonna kind of cut it into slices from here. This looks so good. This smells amazing. So, and it's not totally hard, like I was saying, there's still a little bit of softness to it. So if I just gently cut this into kind of a slice, oh my gosh, you guys, This looks so good. So you could even cut these into slices. I mean, you could cut this into, you know, smaller pieces from here. Whatever size pan you use, you can make it whatever size, shape, slices, serving portions you want. This looks amazing. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. It smells like graham cracker and marshmallow and chocolate, just like real s'mores. So again, make this before you go camping, bring it with you, make it before you, I don't know, go on vacation. It's a great like road trip snack, whatever. I mean, maybe it's not actually, it's pretty sticky, but if you properly like, you know, container it up or whatever, I bet it would be delicious anywhere you go. All right, you guys, thank you so much for making these with me. Can't wait to try it. I will see you guys next month for some more awesome baking. I hope you guys enjoy these. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.